Hello all. Joe Weaver here. It is November 10th, 2014, and I just looked at the last time that I did a video and shared a video. It was about 2 months ago. It's amazing how time flies and how things are progressing. So the reason why I wanted to create this video is just to share some information regarding some things that I have personally experienced and some tools where you say sort of like things that might assist in your own journey and path regarding the transformations that are currently taking place. In my last video I talked about time and the ending of time as we know it. And you know, there's so much that basically goes into that that last video and what's happened in the last couple months, not only to us individually and but also collectively. The last few, of course, years, have been majorly transformational on a lot of different levels. But it's all according to our own individual levels of integration of how we are experiencing the changes that are currently taking place. And one of the biggest things that I personally experienced and that I wanted to share is regarding the changing of time and the integration of more, what we've been talking about for years regarding continuous time or no time. And really it's just a change in time from what we have experienced in the past. I wrote an article or a post on my website about a week ago and I shared it, and one of the things that I said in that writing was the shadow, our shadow self lives in the shadows of the present moment. And what I mean by shadows of the present moment, it has to do with the past and the future. In linear time, our being, how we perceive time, is so much tied into linear. Even though a lot of times we may in meditation center ourselves within our being and we live in that space of what may be perceived as nothingness, when we go out of that meditative state, or we go out of that space of connection that we have through meditation or whatever, we go back into living into the polarized, linear time model, whatever you want to call it. And really what that is when we center ourselves within meditation, or we're centering ourselves within our heart awareness and so on, we are connecting with our expanded levels of our own being, our own I am presence, or our multidimensional self, our own God self-awareness, or again, it doesn't really matter how you describe those levels of your being, but you're connecting with those levels that live in no time and continuous time. Because what we've perceived in the, on Earth, for the most part, has been, a time of like our physical life, and when that life ends, physical life ends, then of course our perception of time is then no longer, but really everything continues on. So anyway, I'm trying to stay as focused as I can to really convey and share the information that I'm trying to get across, is that when we're going through change so much, we've had pressure coming in from the pressure feeling, we're sensing pressure from over the last months regarding all in all different ways of our life. We might be feeling it physical because of the higher energetic frequencies coming in, and or a collective, say, energy coming in from the sun rays or all kinds of different things. But what it does is it creates pressure on the levels of our, say, shadow body, and what's attached to that shadow body is all the constructs and patterns and belief systems that are tied into the old 3D, 4D systems. And so whatever reflects that we're holding on to, that those higher vibrations are coming in and reflecting on, that's where we feel pressure, because the pressure is assisting us in releasing those patterns, releasing those old beliefs, those old fears, or those old systems and programs we've held on to for so long. And so the pressure assists us in releasing them. So another way I look at it is our higher dimensional expanded self is assisting us, or putting pressure on us to align ourselves in the present moment. Aligning in the present moment. It's been talked about in a countless different ways for so long, about aligning in the present moment. Center yourself in the present moment. But really, the dissolving of the old linear time is only the dissolving of the construct of that perception of time is tied into the shadows of the present moment. By us releasing those constructs, those programs, those perceptions of reality that tie us into that multitude of different ways of perceiving the past and the future. The more we align ourselves within the core of our being, which lives in that multidimensionality, that continuous time. And one of the biggest things with our levels of being and ego and shadow and self is that we are going to lose something. That if we let go of this, basically this way of perceiving reality, this belief, this whatever, then we're going to lose something. If we let go of this, then I'm going to disappear and I won't be here for my family, or all kinds of crazy things that basically we conjure up to shield ourselves within the shadow and the illusion. Really, though, by letting go of all those, again, these are fourth dimensional constructs that we are holding on to, that basically just keeps us within that time loop of the shadows of the present moment. And our being, the more that we're awakening to our multidimensional self, and we're getting the pressure coming from our multidimensional self and our own I am self, is that we're that level of our being is basically we're going through a merge process. And the thing that has really assisted me, and this is the key, this is one of the key parts that I wanted to convey, is we may feel very, very scattered. We may feel fragmented. Our awareness, our mental awareness may feel fragmented. We're actually perceiving many, many things at the same time coming in. Especially those that are, say, have more expanded, say, sensitivity to energy, to sensing other beings and other levels of time, basically. And we may feel very, very fragmented. The biggest point that I want to share is those levels are, in a way, thought forms. And for those of you, one of the biggest things that we do, and the first things that we do in a New Paradigm MDT seminar course, one of the first meditations we do, and all of you that have participated in New Paradigm MDT or shared those seminar courses, is the first meditation has to do with clearing energetics, clearing the thought forms, clearing all those levels of energetics that no longer resonate with your I am presence and your own divine will. And you know, the other thing that's said in that meditation is 99.9% of all dark energy that is with us is self-created and also self-held onto. Basically, if it's with us, we are holding onto it, or we have constructed it and we're still basically living in. And as that is living through the shadow, and those are the shadow levels, and there's many levels that make up our shadow body. If you think about light body, or what everything else that basically is connected to basically the shadow body. And so by us becoming more aware of what we're holding on to, releasing the patterns, releasing the constructs, releasing the programs, we're integrating more of our, of course, light body, our own light body awareness, our light body knowingness of our multidimensional self. So the, you know, and the other thing about what I was saying about the 99.9% of the shadow body, again, is held onto. We are the ones holding on to it. At the same time, for those of you that have done energy therapy, have done energetic clearing, have cleared energy on yourself or others, or on land or the earth, you know that through your intent of transmuting, again, transmuting energy, transforming energy into one form into the next, is of course an alchemy process. It's not that these energies of our shadow body that are contained in the shadow body or the collective shadow body is going to say we're pushing it away. Nothing can be really pushed away anywhere because we're connected to everything. Everything is the soup of everything. So for us to transmute and bring order to the fragmentation of our awareness, of fragmented levels of our own emotional body, fragmented levels of our mental body, fragmented levels of our multidimensionality, and bringing it all together into harmony and balance, takes, of course, observation. It takes focus. And that's one of the biggest things that I mentioned in the last writing that I shared on the website. Focus. Takes focus. Takes personal observation throughout your day. And those of you who have done work, like I was going into, is that on energetic clearing, is to know that all these fragmentation things you may be perceiving are only thought forms. And therefore, just dissolve them. Say, I transmute this space that I'm sensing into the frequencies of Mahatma, or love without conditions, or into harmony and balance. I transmute this space. And you basically see it until it completely dissolves into nothingness, into complete, like a rainbow, or however you wish to dissolve, to perceive it. And keep on going. And keep on going through the levels of your awareness, through the levels of your mental body, emotional body. Throughout, you know, take your awareness beyond your physical body and go out through these levels of your expanded chakra system. And sense wherever there is distortion, wherever there is fragmentation, say, I now transmute this into harmony and balance with the rest of my energetic systems. I bring all into harmony and balance. Because in reality, the shadow body in itself is only one big thought form. Yeah, that is the wildest thing to really come to terms with, is that the shadow body, and even this physical body, is only a thought form of our expanded self. It can be transmuted. It can be in all those levels of our consciousness that are tied to the physical and tied into the shadow body and so on, can be transmuted into a higher energetic form through simply focus and intent. And, you know, we stay fragmented and ourselves become so fragmented and out in many different ways until we bring order to our own self. Bring order, be another way, another word for order would be align. Is that you're bringing all these levels into greater harmony and balance, to where everything is operating in synchronicity. So the biggest thing that I wanted to share in this video is to take the time for self-observation, focus. Also, another thing, the way I've been describing this is vibrational observation. What are you sensing, and how does it feel? Is this align with my shadow body? Does this vibration and this space that I'm sensing right now align with my shadow body? If it does, take your awareness into that space and know that space, or wherever that's coming from, is only a thought form. Combine it, dissolve it, reach to the corners and basically the edges of that sphere of thought form, and dissolve it into complete harmony and balance. Wherever you sense other parts of your shadow body coming in, other patterns, observing the patterns that are tied into those constructs, know that pretty much our awareness and our multidimensionality is tied into many levels of, say, fourth dimensional experience and so on, other experiences. And if those experiences keep coming up, or old patterns, is to take your time and to know those experiences are very much just like the one we're having here at this time that I'm sharing with you, is that it is only a dream. It's a dream of a thought form that we are having from an, say, God self-awareness of our own being. And if there's something going on, you know, with your being that you are no longer wishing to experience, such as a pattern or tied into your own being that you are just tired of experiencing, you wish to stand in your power, dissolve those thought forms that are tied into the old programs. There are fourth dimensional programs that are tied into the control matrix of this world, that are like repeating programs that I see, and maybe some other people have talked about, that when we go to sleep, a lot of these programs, according on where we are geographically on Earth, we go into them when we sleep, and a lot of them when we wake up, we're sort of back in that daze of fourth dimensional space. Is to start making greater intent before you go to sleep at night. Say, I'm aligning with my soul family. I am dissolving all fourth dimensional constructs or programs and spaces that no longer align with my divine will. With my divine will to be the embodiment of Mahatma love, to be cosmic embodiment of oneness, or however you wish to call it. Again, words don't matter. It is what matters is your intent, and the power of your intent to become, say, aligned with your own cosmic oneness, or your own harmony and balance. And everyone is going to perceive what I'm sharing here in different ways, and that's okay. The main thing is, and what I shared in my last writing, and for my own levels of experience, I see now that it's not the details or the steps that to get into greater expanded knowingness. It's not the steps, and it doesn't matter if we all take different steps. What matters the most is the power of your intent and your own inner knowingness. And the other thing is the power of your intent and focus. Where is your focus? You know, when we go into that meditative state, we align ourselves, feels really good. We may sense some, you know, blissful, and we may feel revitalized after that meditation. But then we come out and we go right back into the world. We go basically right back into that fourth dimensional matrix of the shadow self, and what the shadow self is living through to experience that reality. When we go to sleep at night, basically the same thing happens. There are fourth dimensional time, a lot of our experience has been controlled through dream time. And this information is starting to come out more and more. So your intention when you go to sleep at night is very important for you to say, from what I'm seeing, is to clear out those programs to where they don't repeat into the next day. So making your intention, not that you're a victim of any program or anything that's been in existence here, but you are now stepping up in your power. You're making intent. You are a sovereign. It is your intent to be a sovereign, self-realized being. And you're an embodiment of your own cosmic light. You're transmuting your shadow body into that wholeness. You're bringing all the fragmented parts of you being together as one. And that's what is really so key at this time on Earth. Is we're becoming more whole, we're becoming more one, not only individually but collectively. So as our individual dream, because this is a dream in a way, is we're becoming more one with our own collective dream. Our own collective dream will experience then in a more even expanded dream of, say, our galactic self and our galactic brothers and sisters, to where we can basically collectively have in a more expanded dream. And as the old yogi says, wake up and dream. You know, my old yogi friend John Armitage says, wake up and dream. And it's not waking up to the dream, basically, that you're going to dissolve out of it. It's just a waking up to basically everything's a dream. The whole daggone thing is a dream, and is how a lot of our being basically is controlled and manipulated through the dream state. Not only a waking dream state, but the unconscious dream state that we go into during physical sleep. When you wake up in the morning, I was basically just doing a session with somebody about a week ago, and she was going through a lot of the fragmented sensing, and she was having spells of basically just where she would just go blank and even fall down, physical fall down. What I was seeing is that we are like time bridgers in a way. We're bridging time. She was caught up in many different time loops, and so basically dissolving some of those time loops then brings things better in order and better in alignment. And we all have this stuff going on. It's a matter of how aware we are to what is going on. And therefore we can bring order to the levels of our energetic systems, our fourth dimensional levels of being, and bring wholeness with our physical being, and bringing all that down to in alignment and with our own divine light body. So the process from moving from shadow body to light body is a matter of transformation. It's transmuting what is there into light, into greater wholeness. So again, the biggest parts is self-awareness, self-observation, vibrational observation, knowing that every single thing that we perceive, no matter if somebody else is doing it or something else is going on in the world, in physical or a being and it's not in physical, how it affects us is through what we're holding on to, what we are holding on to, that's still basically we are transmuting within us, that's tied into our shadow body, still tied into the levels of duality, is because we are still holding on to that reflection. We're still holding on to that duality, and therefore that is what's playing through this shadow experience. You know, one of the biggest things also is to know that, you know, consciousness in itself is simply, our expanded consciousness is simply experiences life. It experiences, it just experiences. And we have many, many different levels of those experience. Experience in itself is just smelling the incense or smelling the flowers, hearing the birds sing, or even seeing somebody getting in a fight with somebody else, or experiencing oneness with the earth or the universe. These are all only experiences of consciousness. It is our experience that basically is what makes up our multidimensionality. Bringing all those levels together and experiencing them in harmony and balance is a matter of us stepping up and saying, I'm tired of this fragmentation. I'm tired of being fragmented and feeling scattered. And a lot of times it takes us being so fragmented and feeling like crap, and that it pushes us to basically step up and bring everything in order, to basically dissolve all those constructs, all those thought forms we've held on for years and even maybe countless lifetimes through our ancestral lines, other time loops of fourth dimensional time that we are caught up in, that we have not resolved and dissolved yet. Just basically bringing all that in order is a matter of us taking the effort to transmute and to do all this for ourselves. A lot of what I'm describing here is not something that basically somebody else can do for us. We can assist somebody, and through things like this, like I was assisting the person about a week or so ago, and then she was able to see, wow, yeah, that makes a lot of sense of what I've been going through. It's through our own, say, aha moment of saying, oh my gosh, yeah, wow, that is what I've been doing, and I can see now how I can change my patterns and how I can better be in harmony and balance. So it's not like we just dissolve all this stuff for other people and they continue on in their own patterns, because it doesn't work like that. It's, again, that is the same thing as living in the present moment, going right back into the shadow self, is living in that continuous moment all the time. It's not that we have to sit in meditation all the time, is that we become aware to what's going on to the point where we live in that continuous time all the time and live in the continuous moment. I think those are the main things that I wanted to share today, is just by letting go of the constructs of what we have perceived as past and future and everything that we've held and experienced in the past. It doesn't mean those things are we're just going to forget about them. They are stored in our Akashic records, in our expanded levels of memory banks. So even though you might dissolve them from the levels of your awareness, you will be able to recall them. And that's, again, from what I have experienced to this point. Even if you dissolve those thought forms out from the levels of your energetics and your own mental levels of being, if you take the time, you will be able to recall them. And so I think that's pretty much it for today. Those are the wild and crazy times that we've been living in. Is how we are the ones that make it wild and crazy. we can make it easier on ourselves. We can make it hard, and our own multidimensional self is trying to get anchored here. It's trying to be present, so we are able to assist the collective and in becoming multidimensional, so we can experience a greater expanded dream of oneness, not only on the earth but as a galaxy. And so until next time, you know, I invite you all to read that article that I posted on my website about focus, and that everything that exists outside of the continuous present moment is part of the shadow. It doesn't mean that it's bad or good. It's just a shadow, and that's what makes up these denser realities, is simply the shadows. And we can still have fun in the shadows. It's just an experience. We can have fun, dance, eat, all kinds of stuff, drink beer, wine. You know, it's just an experience. How we experience it is up to us. So, I'm choosing joy, peace, love, and happiness. That's what I choose from this day. This is my divine will. Anything else that doesn't align with that, I pretty much just transmute it from levels of my awareness. It's not that I'm living in a hole somewhere in a cave because I walk down the street and see it on the TV or in other people acting in that way. They are not acting bad. They're just living their experience. I accept them for who and what they wish to experience, but it doesn't mean that basically I have to live like that. So, or see reality like that. So, alright, I think I've rambled on enough here. So, I just wanted to share some stuff, and you all have a good Thanksgiving at the end of December, if I don't do another video before then. And until next time, namaste. Peace out. See you next time.